Hi guys, here we are, day 20. This is just fantastic. We've made it to day 20. Thank you for all the great emails and messages and suggestions for videos. I really appreciate it. What I want to talk about today is something that I've built an entire clinic around, and that is my recording work that I get to do with legendary producer Michael Blum. The Sam Morrison Band has been signed to his record label, Titan Media, for since 2007. We've done 7 full-length albums with him. Working with the guy has just been so educational. He's recorded some of the biggest names in the industry. He's recorded Madonna, Pink Floyd, Suicidal Tendencies, Michael Jackson. I mean, come on. Drummers, Greg Bissonette, Vinnie Colaiuta, Jim Keltner, and the list just goes on and on and on. So working with the guy's been great, and it's been really educational. I think that there are really 2 different sides to the industry when it comes to your playing, and there's the live arena and there is the studio arena. There is, you know, the performing arts and the recording arts, and you just play differently in the studio. You just do. And so I want to kind of talk about a few of those things in this video. The one thing that I want to talk about is the 3 different kinds of sessions that I do, really. I have original sessions where it's a Sam Morrison Band album and it's an original session. I have an original session where we get hired by other artists to come in and play on their records. And then we have re-records, and we do a lot of re-records for commercial use in movies and television and whatnot. Now, when we do, but all 3 of them have one common thread that run through all 3 of those sessions, and that's prepare, 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 right? Just be ready to go. If I come into a session and it's an original session from an artist other than the Sam Morrison Band, I always have, usually I have enough, time beforehand to have gotten a demo, and I've gone through and made charts on what the songs are and how they go in the form, and maybe have a groove that the artist wanted. If they didn't necessarily have a groove that they were sold to, I've come up with 2 or 3 different things that will work for a song depending on what way the song goes. If it is an original project with the Sam Morrison Band, 90% of the time I'm ready, Freddie. We've rehearsed the song, we're ready. I still, though, I have a chart. I have a chart going, so I can remind myself in the session where I'm at. It's not a transcription. A transcription is something written out note perfect. The chart just tells me where I'm going. It's kind of like a roadmap. A lot of times when I do either one of those sessions, I won't be playing with other musicians. If it's an original session for another artist or for Sam Morrison Band, a lot of times I'm playing along with a demo that was recorded, and then we rehearse the song up, and then I take that demo home and make my chart from it from what I rehearsed. So either way, I'm just prepared on the original session. Now, if it's an original session where I don't hear the song until the day of the session, well, what I do in that case, I still go in with a Sharpie and a notepad, and I make a chart when I'm listening to the song, because sometimes when you get to the session, you might have a demo that you've listened to, or the songwriter might just be playing it for you, and I'll be making notes. Okay, we're going to play the intro, for 4 bars, and then we're going to go to an 8-bar verse, and then an 8-bar chorus, and back into the tag of the intro for 4 bars, and whatever it is, I'll just write it out. So then that way, when I go in to play, I have my roadmap. And then last but not least, a re-record session. Now on a re-record session, it's a little bit different animal, because on a re-record, I'm called upon to re-record something, a song that was a one-time hit. The song was already a hit, and then we're re-recording it either for a release on a tribute record or for, again, commercial use in movies, television, a jingle, a commercial, whatever. And so in that case, I have a transcription, and it's usually as note perfect as it can be to what the original drummer did, and I go in and I read it down. Now, when I'm preparing for those recording sessions like that, what I do is I don't play with the original song. I practice. I get what the BPM, beats per minute. I get that from the original recording, so I know, okay, I've got to record the song at 120 beats a minute, let's say. and I put the chart up, and I turn on my metronome, and that's how I practice. So when I go into the session, if there's no other musicians there, and I just have my transcription and the click going, well, it's not foreign to me, right? I've already practiced it, and I'm ready. We had an amazing opportunity to have the Brian Setzer, members of the Brian Setzer Orchestra come in and record on one of our records. And it was 3 horn players. There was a saxophone player, a trumpet player, and a trombone player. And I'll never forget it. I remember I was at the session, and they went in there, and they're kind of in the main room, and I'm in the booth listening, and they've got their charts up, and they're in there kind of noodling around, you know, just kind of laughing and joking around, and they're kind of playing through the chart, and you know, you hear them just kind of figuring their way around. And then the producer, Michael, he goes, "Okay, you guys ready to take one?" And you hear him, "Yeah, we're ready." And then all of a sudden the song started, and they snapped to attention, and bam, man, they hit that thing, and it was just unbelievable how tight it was. It was just phenomenal. They did 3 passes, and then the saxophone player, the great Tim Messina, he had a solo, and so after they did the passes with the 3 horns, 2 of the guys left. Tim went in, blew through his solo, first try, first take, bam! It was just amazing to watch, and it was note perfect. He had transcribed the song, he had the chart ready, the 3 of them were prepared, and it was flawless. I really took that to heart, and I try to do the same thing when I go into a session. Then, you know, the other thing that I've seen is the exact opposite, right? I've seen people go in and they're not prepared and they want to wing it, right? Well, I'm playing a solo and I'm just going to wing it. Well, they kind of, you know, will hit a wall with that sometimes. And now, let me also say this, that is not on one of these sessions with Michael. These are sessions in the past, right? But I've learned so much from working with Michael. I think backwards to those sessions, I'm like, oh, no wonder they weren't as good as they could have been, because maybe somebody was doing a solo and they were just winging it. They weren't prepared. Or myself, maybe I was going in and I wasn't prepared. So again, the studio arena and the live arena are way different, but they're the same in the aspect that when you come in, you just want to be as prepared as you possibly can. Know your material, have transcriptions or have a chart and a roadmap, and just be ready to lay it down. Make sure that you are able to work with a metronome, okay? Now, I understand that it's the drummer's job to keep time, but I've said this in a past video that it's everybody's responsibility to have good meter, right? So if you're working with a metronome and you're drummers, you know, you're playing with a metronome, and let's say that this is the metronome and this is your drumming. This is your line and time and this is your drumming. You want to be right there. Okay, you don't want to be below the beat. You don't want to be ahead of the beat. If you're below the beat or you're behind the beat and you're dragging, it sounds like you're like, oh, let's get this done. You know, you're not excited about it. Now, if you're ahead of the beat, right, and it's like you have the beat strapped to your back and the click strapped to your back and you're pulling it. Well, now it's like you've had 1 too many cups of coffee and there's a nervous energy in the room. So make sure that you understand how to work with a metronome, understand how to work with the click. One of the things that I do when I'm practicing with my click, if it's one of the sessions like I was talking about, a cut to click session, which means, yes, we record to a click, but when I say cut to click, it's just drums and my transcription. There's no other musicians. I'm just playing to the click. A lot of times the click will have a marker on one. So you might get click, 2, 3, 4, click, beep, 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 click, beep, beep, beep. So when I'm at home practicing, I make sure I put a marker on my metronome. When I go in, I just want it to be a no-brainer, right? I just don't even want to think about it. I just want to do it. So that's kind of, you know, again, it comes back to just always being prepared. And then last but not least, you know, the tape's not going to lie. You know, you're going to go back in and you're going to listen to it, and you might be, man, you know, if you're a drummer, you know, again, here's your line time, here's your drumming, and you're ahead. And you're like, man, I nailed it. But then you listen to it and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't nail it. You know, the tape does not lie. So make sure that you have thick skin. You know, really make sure, because when you go in and you hear yourself, it can kind of be, you know, it can be a little bit humbling for sure. And some people, you know, you might like, oh man, you know, you get beat up mentally. Just have thick skin. Just go in and go, well, you know, man, it wasn't that great, but I'll do better in the next song, or I'll do better in the next session. So, you know, and then make sure too that when you go in to record, that, and you have all your ducks in a row, you got your chart up, you got your, you know, whatever, if you're a drummer, you're behind the drums, your guitar player, you got your guitar. Make sure that you are prepared with the gear as well. Okay, if you're going in to do a rock gig, you're not going to show up with your real thin jazz cymbals, or you're probably not going to show up with a big hollow body, you know, Guild guitar to, you know, do a re-record on a, you know, on an AC/DC song. You know, you're gonna want to have the correct instruments for the job. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot that goes into recording sessions. But I think it's just like anything else. If you're prepared and you're ready to go, and you understand what it is that you're doing, and again, you have thick skin, you go in and you listen to yourself, you know, it's going to make you a better player. I think that's why the best session players in the world are the best players in the world, because they get to go in and critique themselves all the time. They go in and record themselves, they go listen back, and they might go, wow, I have a tendency to rush here, or a tendency to drag here, or maybe I should do this instead of that. Whatever, they get to hear themselves. So, you know, being a session player, again, it's way different than playing live, but it's similar in a way that you have to prepare and be ready to go. So that's some of my tips on recording. If you are getting to a point where you're going to do some recording in your career, and you have any questions, you'd like to talk to me about it, if you're local, look me up, come over, take some lessons. If you're not local, look me up. We can Skype. I Skype all the time. Matter of fact, I've got to get going here, because I got a Skype lesson coming up in about 15 minutes. And then last but not least, what I want to talk about tomorrow kind of comes into this video right now. And I'm going to talk about knowing how to listen to music. And that's something that not only did I learn from doing a lot of recording sessions, but I learned from probably one of the greatest drummers and drum teachers that I've ever worked with, and that's the great Dom Famularo. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow. Thanks for watching today. If you do have any questions on recording or doing a recording session or anything like that, again, look me up, find me, and I'll be happy to work with you and answer any questions and help you out in any way I can. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.